Accountability is on my mind lately, partially because I work in a company where sometimes I'll hear certain phrases like, we have an accountability problem. And and I don't just hear it in my organization, I hear it in other organizations. And it has me thinking more and more about this critical leadership capacity. In organizations where I hear it said, we have an accountability problem, I find myself wondering, is there really an accountability problem? Or is maybe something upstream causing the issue? Perhaps there's an expectation problem. Now, there might be both, but from my perspective and from my experience, you can't hold yourself or others accountable until you've spent some time on the front end articulating what you're holding yourself and others accountable toward. Many of the supposed accountability issues that emerge, I wonder if they would go away suddenly if we spent more time being intentional and talking about expectations and standards. Many times when I hear someone say that there's an accountability issue, the other interesting thing I notice is it's often an issue with someone else, and there's a need for accountability with someone else. And so the request for accountability is being directed like a weapon, honed in, aimed at someone else or something. And I think, again, don't get me wrong, I think there is a time and a place for enforced accountability and intentionally honoring and protecting boundaries when they get violated. And I believe this is not the only form of accountability that we need to utilize as leaders. Unfortunately, it's the default setting, it seems, and it's the one that is typically reached for when things go wrong. We're quick to pull the trigger of enforced accountability and very slow to think about other ways of holding space for accountability. And so as I think about accountability, I want to be intentional about my own personal default. And this is the default that I want to have. I want to have a default of autonomous personal accountability. And I want to embed that within those that I serve. That's the kind of accountability that I want to lead with. You see, the problem with enforced accountability is that it only works when I'm standing right here, right now, with someone else. What happens when I walk away? I'll tell you what happens. That person's accountability structure walks away. And so I want to help build internal accountability structures in others so that when I walk out of the room, their structure stays in place because it's right here. You see, if the only accountability lever that you know as a leader is enforced accountability, I'll tell you, it will curtail improper behavior for a short time while you are present, but as soon as your butt walks out of the room, there goes that person's source of accountability. So how do we make this shift and how do we expand our perspective on accountability? And I think it occurs by really making a shift from telling to asking and inviting people into this space of personal accountability. And there's some intentional questions you can use that I think will help people start to hold themselves accountable. So here you go. Try these on. Ask someone, okay, what will you do going forward? When will you do it by? How will I know you've done it? What sort of accountability structures would serve you best? Ask a couple of those questions. Try it on, see what happens. Because ultimately, accountability is about helping people move toward an outcome. Accountability can be a wonderful partnership tool with equally important roles. And the beauty of autonomous accountability is that it gives people the ability to take responsibility for their lives. Accountability is about so much more than enforcing rules and punishing when they are violated. We work with human beings, y'all, and we were not made to be controlled. We were designed for autonomy and for choice, and accountability should reflect that. That's just one person's opinion. I might be wrong, I might be right, but it's my opinion and my perspective, so there you have it. Hope you have a good day. See ya.